Okay, so here we are. Here's all my groups. There's the studio colors like I showed you. I kept numbering off some of these. I kept numbering them off, and what I mean by that is that I kept the fixture number intact with the fixture as it is on the stage. Then what I did, I added columns so I can select them all by column if I want. If I don't want to do that, I can select them by rows. Another way of handling this is that you can do evens or you can do odds. That way, you just select them for you. And of course, I always do a select that type of fixture or select that row. That's kind of my personality. You can do it however you want. Then for front light, I did the each corresponding dimmers for each front light. Then I did a front light group, so it selects them all. Then I did an upstage downlight, which is for those who don't know, downlight is just that as it is just downlight from par cans. Then a downstage downlight, and then I have, of course, I can select them both. And then if you want, this is up to you, you can select all your moving fixtures and you can hit record and create a group for that and hit set and say all movers or all spots or whatever, however you want to name it. For I mean, if you would like to hit the control button and then hit that and hit douse lights and strike lights, however you want to handle that, if you want that at all. But anyway, so now that to me, that's getting organized in the groups is probably one of the most important parts ever. The next thing I do is that I give it front light, and the reason that is because if I'm doing this while there's a sound check or before a sound check, I want to make sure that everyone sees front light first. It takes priority, quite frankly, before everything else. So I just go ahead and get that going. How I started, I would just personally double click my first group, or you can tap it on the keyboard, and then open up my groups. So double click the group button, and there's my groups. I don't like it on that side, so I will hit the size button until it rotates over here. I'll click on that guy and rotate it. Oops, I had it right there in front of me. And sometimes I will go ahead and I will hit record view, and I will call this, let's see, I'll hit open on that, and set, and I will call this make a queue. That way I don't have to sit there and jump between different windows. I can just select that button and these two pop up like how I like it. Like I said, if you want to do it your own way, that's fine. So anyway, so I select on front light, turn off the highlight button, because at this point we don't need anymore, and I want it to say in the command line front light at full. And as you see up here on the stage, it should be at full. So what do you want to do? You want to hit the record button on your keyboard, on your controller, hit record, and then enter. And then I hit the set button so I can name it, and I can just call it front light. Now I want this to always be highest takes, or highest takes priority. So I click on, sorry if I was a little quick there, click on options like I showed you, highest takes priority. Then as you notice, my clear button's in red, so hit clear. And I'm kind of surprised that the front light's still up. Oh, yep, there it goes. Now as I move the fader up and down, you can see the front light goes up and down. So that is my front light. Then you can, if it's different colored lights, like if you have a bunch of 6 bars in different colors, I personally do one fader as a queue list with the highest take priority, and I'll just run between warm lights and cool lights. Like that'll be like my red and ambers, and then a queue for all my blues, and then an all. I have, in fact, I'd probably do one as an all, and then my second fader might be a rotation between blues and warm colors, or cool and warm colors. A lot of times I will actually set up a fader just for blues. It really depends on how the setup is. I personally like it like this, where I have just condensing white lights for the front light and maybe some blues on a second fader. So I usually just use white and blues. That's my favorite ideal setup, just me personally. But on this one, I have some fun with it. I always like to, even though I may have blues, I will always have a third fader on the solo singer, so I can always solo somebody for like calm, cool, emotional setups. but since I don't have that blue feature, I'll just throw that out. I'll double click on my 2, and I want to highlight the center, so we'll just go to that. So I'll type in the command line, I hit the center group at full, there's my center, and I hit the record button, and hit enter, and hit set, and I'll call it solo. And like I said, you'll mess with the front light differently from how your show's set up, and you'll know once you're there what to do per the situation. So now I have a fader for my front light and my solo, and I'm pretty much good to go with that. I sometimes, you can debate this, I'll just do a downlight group. I like downlight for certain times. Oops. I personally like to do them in blue, but my opinion. Full enter, hit enter, and record, and I'm going to record it to master 3. And as you see, I double click there and automatically made it. Pretty nice, eh? Hit set. Oops, I want to name that. I'll call it downlight. Bam, there we go. Hit options. Highest takes priority. Now I have a fader, as you can guess, for downlight, solo light, front light. That takes care of all that. Now I start from the back, and what I do is I do the different types of fixtures. With movers, with backlight. So as you see, the front section takes front light, and this takes backlight on that side. I will start with the studio colors, and I will set them at full. And that's all I'll do. I'll set their intensity to master number 10, and I'll hit record, enter, and I'll hit set, and I'll call it side light for this one, or you can call it, let's call it studio colors. Maybe, that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, hit clear, and as you oh, yep. I do not do highest takes priority for this, and you'll find out later is because when I want to do strobe effects, it has to overwrite this highest takes priority. So I actually do what's called a persist on override for this, because because I want this to chill in the background when I'm doing like strobes and other things, and then I want the strobe to go away and this to come back to the foreground. And for this, you have to hit play because it's a cue. Right? Oh yeah. So there it is. I have to play, and now I can run it like so. What I do particularly with this one is I take all the moving fixtures and I set them at full and write it on this one fader. If I had it my way, I probably would have more faders. You hear that high end, more faders. Record Q1. I'm just going to override this guy and say, yeah, I want to replace the whole thing. I'm going to set it to movers. We'll just call it that. And then hit play. And then now with my fader, I can just control the moving fixtures, their intensity. Now what I can do here is that I close this out, then I take the groups and I move it to the other side of the screen here, and then I double click on my scenes, and then my scene directly came up. Undo the guard for right now. Do we want to undo the, yeah, let's undo the guard. I'm just going to throw a few. This may look familiar from that last video I did, but what I do from here, I'm just going to throw a few cues, but I'll show you what else I do here. Record 8. Oops, I'm sorry. Record view 8. Record view and number 8. And then I'll open up the views. I'm sorry. Keep in mind you have to hold open when you do that. So I'd hold down the button open and click views. And then on 8, I hit set. And I'll call this make a scene. There we go. Now I can make a scene. And then I can close that out. Now if I want to hit make a cue, bam, there we go. I can make a scene. That's that quickly. Now, what I like to do is I take my top fader in 10 and I turn it up, and I take my front light, I might turn it up, and maybe a little bit of my down light, just get a general view. And I make positions. The first thing I do before I make colors, I make these in different directions. Let's see here. So the first thing I would do is let's make my studio colors. You know, I meant to fill in my palettes first, so that goes first. So if I want to make it so that my side color or my studio colors, I'm going to point them out in the middle. Okay. Let's see, is that pan? Oh, pardon me. Hit clear. Hit those guys. And I should be able to, well, I have to hit position first. Let's see, tilt. There we go. Oops. Yeah, we'll just keep it straightforward here at 71 degrees. And record. Now I want to record a position. So I'll double tap it. And I will call this, let's see, positions. Open that back up. Set. And I will call this side wash. Clear that out. Studio colors, hit side wash. Now that's coming back up. But let's say for my beams, I'm going to double click the beams. So I have my beam directory open. There we go. And let's say I just wanted to make it, have a saved beam setup where it's all nice and washy. So I want to go to this color wheel and I'm going to change the beam shape to 100. I'm going to change the frost to 100 and the next wheel, and as you see here, it should wash out, and I'm just going to open up everything on here so it's at 100%. Well, there we go. Yeah, it works. And we'll hit record. And we'll hit insert and call this a wash. So that way I can just refer to that from now on. I don't have to sit here and screw around with that. Okay, so for this one, I want to play with my techno beams, and I will take the position. I'll hit the position button and take the tilt and move these guys up. Let's say right about there. And I'll say double click my position so the position window opens and record. I want to go down a row because that way I'll know it's my techno beams. One row above that would be my my side light. Set, and I will call this part up. You call it whatever you want. Let's do my upstage guys. And I will just take the tilt and I will shoot these guys up. And then I will go over here and select my downstage row. And I will rock those guys up a little bit. And hit record. And I'll call this one. Let's call it mix up. Or no, yeah, let's call it mix up. And then, you could, this is a fun feature as well that you can do. You can use the fan button. A fan button is this guy right here, and let me show you. You have to select it in a particular order, and I'm going to select it with the back row first, and I'm going to start from left to right. And then you have to hold the fan button. I wish I could show it to you by just holding it with the mouse, but you have to hold well, you could. I think it's the F button on the keyboard for you guys at home. You can look that up in your help directory. If I remember correctly, trying to see if I can figure this out for you guys at home. I want to say it is the F button. No, it's not that. Well, yeah. It just does it weird on the keyboard, though. It doesn't really hold the F button down. Let me find the fan button for the shortcut on the keyboard. Service.